Hello, this is Yoga for Cancer, and I'm Rebecca, and I welcome you on this quite beautiful day. I am wondering when the yellow pollen is going to be done so I can take the covers off of my outdoor furniture and hose down my deck and be able to go back outside. Oh boy. Well, today's topic is awe, wonder. Wonder is our birthright. It comes easily in childhood, the feeling of watching dust motes dancing in sunlight or climbing a tree to touch the sky. If we're safe and nurtured enough to develop our capacity to wonder, we start to wonder about the people in our lives too. Their thoughts and experiences, their pain and joy, their wants and needs. We begin to sense that they are to themselves as vast and complex as we are to ourselves. Their inner world as infinite as our own. In other words, we're seeing them as our equals. We are gaining information about how to love them. Wonder is the wellspring for love. To open to wonder, you only have to reclaim a sliver of what you once knew as a child. If you remember how to wonder, then you already have what you need to learn how to love. That's Valerie Kaur, and she is an activist. So being present with beginner's mind, that sense of childlike curiosity, letting go of our jaded skepticism, of our preconception of what things mean. To me, that's wonder. And then if you add gratitude to wonder, you get awe. Recognizing the beauty of the current moment opens our hearts to the experience of awe, that feeling of something greater than ourselves, coupled with gratitude for our existence. I feel it mostly in nature, at the ocean, in the mountains out west, but also in cities like New York City and Paris, in beautiful buildings filled with art. And even when our bodies are compromised, there is wonder and awe there as well. I recently had an echocardiogram, and I shed tears when I saw my heart pumping away so fiercely with so much conviction, so much life. I was filled with awe when I was pregnant. So where do you find awe? Let's start with beginner's mind. Take a moment to settle in your seat, sitting up nice and tall, feeling your connection to the earth and your ability to grow and be spacious above. Notice the sensations in your space with beginner's mind. So when you feel something like touching my yoga pants, rather than saying I'm touching my yoga pants, think, well, this is smooth and there's a bump here. I feel some coolness. I feel the shape beneath it. That's what I mean by beginner's mind. So allow your eyes to close or take a soft gaze and begin to tune into what you notice. What are the first things that you notice? Is it sound or texture, smell or taste perhaps? Is it your breath, sound, the light? What are the things that you notice? And then take a moment to turn your attention more deeply inward to your breath and that sensation of breath entering and moving through your body. This is a perfect place to practice beginner's mind. We breathe over and over and over again, and the body breathes without our input. And we can also change the breath. We can't change our heartbeat. I mean, maybe with, relaxation or slowing the breath, but we can't really change it. We can't change the way things are moving through our bodies, but we can change our breath. So with beginner's mind, with the curiosity of a child, take your first breath. Each breath is new. Notice where you feel it, where it goes, how it exits, how the breath moves through the body. The expansion, the contraction, the rising and falling. What are the words? What are the not the words? What are the sensations that you connect with breathing? Maybe there's awe and gratitude right there. Let's scan the body now from the crown of the head. Noticing, we did this last week, I think, but those places that are strong and the places that are over-engaged. Noticing the places that could soften and the places that might firm up. Releasing the muscles of your face. Gritting your teeth does not help you sit up taller. Relaxing the neck so that the head can balance on top. Softening the shoulders, allowing the arms to be heavy, hands to make contact. Opening up the front body to receive breath, even where there's constriction. Noticing constriction without getting stuck on the story. And seeing what possibility there is to soften. Filling the belly, the sides of the body, the back of the body with breath. Softening the hips, letting the legs be heavy. Feeling your connection to the earth. And then from that point, rising up and growing tall towards the sky. Let's take 5 breaths, noticing. And after your 5th exhale, slowly come back, pardon me, into your natural breath. And notice how you feel. Maybe unchanged, maybe heart open, maybe something completely different. And we'll continue with our sun breaths. Inhale and allow the arms to float up on the breath. Exhale and soften, lowering the arms, letting them float down, beginning to connect movement and breath. Noticing what needs to engage for the arms to float up, and where can you let go? Maybe your shoulders are getting too involved and you can soften them even as the arms rise up. Let's do one more, inhaling up. Now bring your right hand towards your left knee and come up and over with the left hand. Now we're going to inhale and come up, bringing the left hand behind you, coming into a twist. Inhale here and then exhale and come over into the side bend. We'll go back and forth a few times. Inhale, up, and exhale over. And one more like that. Inhale, up and twist. And exhale, over. Keep both hands down and shift to the other side. Release your right hand and come into the side bend. Inhale up, that hand comes behind you into the twist. Exhale to the side bend. Inhale up and twist. And exhale, side bend. One more time. Inhale up and twist. Exhale to the side bend. Leave your hands where they are and come through center. And then hug opposite elbows. Let's just rock a little bit from side to side. And then imagine that you're taking off a sweaty sweatshirt and you bring it up over your head and float the arms down. Let's do that 2 more times. Hug in, bring a different arm on top this time, and then reach up and down. And last time, hug in and then reach and release. Allow your hands to come down to your knees. Let me scooch back a little so you can see me better. I always like to be close up at the beginning so I can do all my controls. And then I gotta scooch. Okay, hands on your knees. Let's move into our seated cat-cow. Inhaling in place and then exhaling and tucking the tail, drawing the belly in and letting the head come forward. Hold on with your hands at your knees. Then roll the pelvis forward as you inhale, opening the front body. Reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, open. Use your hands against your knees to push and pull yourself gently through this spinal range of motion. And notice without story. So without story means that you don't have a preconceived idea about what it means if it feels tight in a certain spot. That's beginner's mind. What do you actually feel in this moment with the information you have right here and right now? And come to stillness. There's a story in a musical called Rent, where it's about the AIDS crisis in the 80s in New York City. And these people are at a support group. And the leader asks one guy, or guy comes in and he says, I'm very upset about the news about my T cells. And the leader says, okay, how do you feel today? The guy says, what do you mean? And the leader says, how do you feel today? And the answer is, the best I felt all year. So be in the moment, be with what's happening right now. It may surprise you. Let's interlace fingers and then turn palms away. Elbows are bent, hands are up kind of at heart level. Let's press them away and open through the palms of the hands, through the fingers, and through the wrists. Inhale, bring them in. Exhale, press away and stretch. Inhale, bring them in. And this time we're going to press away and bring the arms up. Now, if it's not comfortable to come all the way up, just come to where it feels good and you're getting a stretch. If you're up, you can press away and it's almost like you're pulling your arms away from each other, but without letting your fingers come undone. Exhale and bend your elbows. Maybe your knuckles come to the crown of your head. Inhale and press away, stretching. Exhale to the crown. This time we'll press away and then release arms down, turn palms to face us, and then release and shake out your hands. Yes. Beautiful. Let's move to tabletop, hands and knees, making sure that you have the support that you need underneath your knees. If you prefer not to come to hands and knees, that is perfectly fine. And you can do much of this seated. Whenever we're doing something that you prefer to stay seated, think about doing the upper body parts, right? If your legs, if we're doing an extension, you can extend your leg in your seat. There's lots that we can do. So hands, fists, or forearms. Find your table. Knees underneath your hips. Get nice and long with a lot of support from your abdominal muscles. And then move into cat and cow. Inhaling, lifting your tail, softening your belly. Maybe you reach through the crown. Exhaling, tucking, drawing in and up. Press the floor away gently. Let the head go. Inhale to lift the tail. Open the front body. Press the floor away here too. And exhale. Take your time. We're going to move through cat and cow a few times. Noticing where you're engaging and building strength, that body weight onto your bones helps with bone density. I'm noticing I'm not letting my head go, so I'm going to work on that. Just a few more times. And then this, or the next time that you come through neutral, pause here, reestablish that strong middle body. And let's extend the left leg. Maybe start with toes down and rock a little bit forward and back, stretching through your foot and ankle, maybe your toes. Stay here or inhale and raise your leg just to hip height. Keep pressing out through the heel. Keep engaging in the low belly. Maybe you add that opposite reach. Holding here for 3 and 2 and 1. Lower your hand, lower your toes. We're going to pivot the back foot, bring the other foot behind you like a kickstand, and we're going to open into our side plank. This time, bring your hand behind your head so your elbow is reaching up. From here, we're going to inhale and then exhale. Draw your elbow as if you're going to touch your other elbow, the inner side. Inhale and open. Exhale and close. Inhale and open. One more time. Exhale and close. Inhale and open. Maybe stretch the arm overhead or up. Long reach and come back and wiggle waggle, release. Sometimes if we're doing something that's a lot on the wrists, you can come down and move your fingers around. And notice maybe you need to start on your forearms or your fists the next time. So back to tabletop, lots of engagement, extending the right leg, toes down, press, rock, stretch through your calf, through your ankle and foot. Roll gently if there's neuropathy. Maybe you stay here or raise that leg, pressing out through the hip. Lots of engagement, so you can maybe add that extended arm. Holding for 3 and 2 and 1. Toes down, hand down, or fist or forearm. And you can see the back view here. I'm going to pivot, bringing my heel down, and then this foot where I have my knee down, the foot comes behind like a kickstand. Then I can open to the side, move my hair so I don't inhale it, bringing your hand behind your head. Inhale and open, and then exhale and gently, carefully draw your elbow down. It's a balancing act. Inhale and open, and exhale down. Last time, inhale and open, exhale down, and come back to your starting position. And let's come into child's pose. Knees wide if you like, toes together, releasing hips to heels, and then come down. You can come right to forearms, or you can stack your hands or fists, or if you have a block or a cushion handy, bring it right underneath your forehead. This way you can breathe. You have plenty of space for your body. Big breaths. Big sighs. One more. Beautiful. Press into your hands, walk your knees in closer. We're going to come into some knee down lunge work. So if you have your blocks handy, which I hope you do if you have them, draw them close, and we'll go ahead and step the left leg forward in between your blocks. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can work with something that's a similar size or shape. Some people say big fat paper towel rolls or books or something else. At this point, most of us have what we're using, so we know what we're doing. Okay, so from here, stay here or walk one or both hands up onto your hip, onto your knee. And then we'll open the hip by rocking gently forward and back. Yeah, beginning to open the front of that right hip and the back of the left leg. The next time that you come forward, maybe you stay or raise one or both of your arms. Open wide and exhale, hands to blocks. Curl your back toes under. We're going to press back, straightening the back leg or moving in that direction. The front knee is over the ankle. This is a lunge position. And here, think about your right hip dropping down a little bit so your left hip can draw back. Get nice and long through your spine. And then slowly lower your knee. From here, we're going to send our hips behind us and maybe flex the front foot. If you have blocks, maybe you can walk them back. Now, if you feel pressure in your knee, please keep it a little bit bent. The idea is just to find some length in the back of the leg. Press your heel down and then draw that left hip back behind you. Ease into the stretch, long spine. And then we'll come forward and release that leg, bringing it back to your starting position. And we'll move to the other side. Stepping the right foot forward in between your blocks. Staying here or coming up, one or both. Inhale and rise up. Oh, I forgot to do the rocking. Let's inhale here and exhale, hands to knees. And now we'll rock back and forth. Gently coaxing some opening in the front of that hip, in the thigh. Rocking front and back. Yes, beautiful. Then coming forward, hands to blocks, curl back toes under and press your heel back. Stretching through your heel, you'll feel that stretch in your calf, your knee is over your ankle. And here your left hip is coming forward, your right hip is drawing back. One more breath, and now listen up. We're going to slowly walk the back foot forward. So you can take one or two or three hops. Once you get here, bring your hands to your knees, long spine, and we'll walk all the way up to standing. Beautiful work. I'm going to scooch this out of the way. And we'll find our Tadasana. We'll be moving into balance practice. So take a moment to notice if you need a little extra support today. And that might come from a wall or another structure or something sturdy, a sturdy piece of furniture that's not going to tip over or slide. And then in proximity to your support, take a moment to find your center, feeling your feet making contact with the ground, hands on your hips. Maybe you rock a little bit. I talked a little bit about neuropathy earlier. If you have pain in your feet, please tread lightly. Sorry for the pun. But honestly, don't press into pain. But notice if you're working around pain and what that means for other muscles that have to engage. I'm rolling here around a little bit, shifting the weight of my hips. And then coming to some stillness, pressing down through my feet, activating my legs. I'm sort of lifting my kneecaps gently, no hyperextension, drawing my thighs towards each other, lifting the pelvic floor, engaging through the low belly. Inhale and raise your arms up. Maybe look up and see your hands come together. Exhale, draw them to heart center. 2 more times. Inhale up and exhale, heart center. And once more. And exhale and come to stillness. Take a moment to notice your environment. What is your focal point, right? Your drishti, and what is your peripheral vision telling you? Is there a moment of awe to be had here in this moment in your body with your breath? I've told you many times I look out at trees, and trees are always a source of wonder and awe for me. So if you don't see trees, that's fine, but maybe you can see them in your mind's eye. I was walking down in the old Fourth Ward Park. There's a water area, and there was this beautiful, beautiful crane. I always get cranes and herons confused, but it was a beautiful big bird and inspired me to bring this sequence back. We're going to start with flying crane. We'll inhale, raise arms up, lift your left leg like you're stepping up. Inhale back to center and exhale. Now this is almost an exaggerated walk, right? Arms are swinging in and out instead of side to side. But it's that shifting of weight and coordinating limbs. Couple more. And this time, stay and hold. Eyes on your focal point. Lift up. Can you flap your wings? I don't know if I can. And release down. Inhale to heart center. Pause. To the other side. Hold. Flap. This is my more stable side. And come back to center. Take a moment to find your breath. Maybe some awe for yourself if you were able to balance. I'm always proud when I can. And we'll move to the second part of this sequence, moving between crane and crescent lunge. So we inhale to crane, lifting the left leg. We exhale and step that foot behind, up on the ball of your foot, arms come up. So that's crescent. Show you from the side. So I'm stepping straight back with this leg. My front knee is bending a little bit over the ankle, and I'm on the ball of my foot, my heel pressing behind, and arms come up. Then we step back up to crane and back to crescent. 2 more on this side. Inhale up and exhale back. Inhale up and exhale back. Hold crescent. Reach, press back through your heel. Think of your left hip coming forward and your right hip going back. Open and then step up, hands at heart center. And find your breath. Take a moment to find your focal point once again. Inhale, crane. Exhale, crescent on this side. Inhale, crane. Exhale to crescent. Couple more. And this time we hold in crescent. Keep pressing back through your right heel, but your right hip comes forward, left hip goes back. Inhale, open, open, open. And exhale, step back up. And pause. Finding your breath. Beautiful. Let's do one more standing sequence and we'll work with our chair pose. If you have a block and you'd like to use it, or even a thick and small pillow, something that you can put between your thighs, just above your knees, right? You don't want your legs to be much wider than hip distance apart. Mine are slightly wider with this block. So find your Tadasana here. Squeezing in towards center, notice how it changes the activation of your legs. Can you lift your pelvic floor, engaging the low abdomen, opening the heart? Let's inhale and reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Is there a question?
Where's the block?
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see it. It's right here. Can you see it now? Let me use my light blue one. Let's show up better on my black yoga pants. Okay, see here? So it's above my knee and between my thighs. Okay? So squeezing in towards center, finding your setup, your balance here. I'm going to turn sideways because that lets you see my body shape a little more now that we know where the block is. One more time, let's inhale up, palms together, exhale, hands to heart center. Slide your hands to your thighs, begin to sit back as if you were sitting on a chair. Now notice my knees are not coming forward, right? My knees are staying back over my ankles and I'm reaching back with my tailbone. I'm sticking my butt out and I'm getting nice and long in my spine. So the crown of the head is reaching. I'm turning my head to look at you, but you should be looking at the floor. Use your hands on your knees and thighs for a little support. Squeeze in towards center. Get long. One more breath. And then press down, squeeze in, and rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So that's version 1. Version 2, we start with hands at heart center. You can always bring your hands back to your thighs for more support. So starting right here, hands at heart center, take a moment to get engaged, right? Feel your feet. Squeeze in. Get really strong. Inhale here and then exhale. Reach behind you. Squeeze in towards center. Get long. So what I don't want is a rounded spine. You have to really hinge at the hips. Send your butt behind you. One more breath. Squeeze in, rise up, and exhale back down. Okay, version 2. We'll do one more. You can have hands on your thighs, hands at heart center, or reach with your arms. I have to readjust my legs sometimes a little bit, squeezing in towards center, feeling the strength. I'm going to exhale and reach my hands behind me like a downhill skier. Inhale, reach forward, exhale back, and this time inhale, up, and exhale, release it down, remove your block, and you can walk in place. Let's take a nice wide stance, pinky toes towards the edges of your mat, and gently twist. Let your arms float around. Keep your head facing forward, or you can turn your head with your shoulders, whatever feels best in your body. Just a couple more like this. And then we're going to make our way down to sitting. Now, if you know you need extra support when you sit on the mat, make sure you have a bolster or pillows or a folded blanket. I'm going to grab mine and bring it in place. I'm also going to grab some water. You can too. And then make my way down to my seat. I'm going to bring soles of feet together and knees apart. I always like to rock just a little bit here. Now you can't quite see my feet. Let me scooch back. Endlessly scooching. What do you do for a living? I scooch. Someday we'll be in person and you'll be able to see all of me all the time. Okay, I know I'm laughing to myself here. Okay, rocking, and then come to stillness. Now, if you're in this position and your knees are way up high and you're rolling back, that means you need to sit up higher. So grab another cushion or a folded blanket, whatever you're using, and get your hips up a little higher. It'll make this a lot easier and more comfortable. And again, your feet don't have to be right up against your groin. You can send them out a little further. That gives you a little more support, maybe, and a little more room. So find whatever's comfortable for you. Hands on your knees, shins, or ankles. We'll inhale and get really tall. It's almost the same movement that we do in chair pose by sending our bottom down and reaching our crown up, creating that nice long spine. Exhale and soften in your hip sockets. See if you can let your knees drop a little further down. If you're finding this really uncomfortable, take some support from a pillow or a block. You can place it right underneath your thigh or knee. Please take care of yourself. We'll stay here just for a few more breaths. Inhale and get nice and tall. Exhale, soften and let the knees drop apart. 2 more times. And last time. Bring your hands underneath your knees and help your legs come out a little bit wider. Maybe if you're sitting up on something high, you can scooch a little lower. You don't want to have pressure at the backs of your knees. I'm going to actually slide just a little forward so that my bolster is still supporting me behind me, but I can sit up nice and tall on my sits bones. My knees and toes pointing towards the ceiling, right? Some of our bodies like to let the legs flop out, and some the legs flop in. So try and find that middle point where you can sit up nice and tall. Now, if you have blocks or a nice cushion in front of you, bring them here. You see that? I know these blocks are too dark. I'll put them together. How's that? There, now you can see it. We're going to inhale and get really tall, reaching up through your fingertips. Stay here or begin to come forward if there's any more space. Now, what I don't want is rounding, right? We want to keep a long spine. So you're reaching through your fingertips through the crown of your head and tip forward just a little bit and come to that first stop. You may be there right away, or maybe you have a lot of space to go. And then lower your hands, your forearms, whatever you've got, to your block or cushion. And same action as we just did in bound angle pose. Inhale and reach long from your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. Exhale, see if you can soften just a little more in your hips to come a little further forward. But if not, don't let your spine round. If it's rounding, come back a little more so that you can get that length. That's the more important thing. Couple more breaths, just finding some space. And then press into your fingertips. Walk your hands behind you and let your feet come in a little closer. Move my blocks. And just some Nice gentle bounces of your knees and some little in and out windshield wiper movement here. And then we're going to roll all the way down onto our backs and moving your props out of the way and carefully rolling down onto your back. Let your knees be bent, your feet on the floor. We're going to go into a figure 4 position. So take your left leg and bring your ankle above your knee onto your thigh. And I say your ankle and not your foot, right? So you're crossing it a little more across. So now you can see my foot is free to do some circling. So take a moment and do some circling. And then can you do some pointing and flexing? And if you get cramps in your feet, you can just point with the ball of your foot. You don't have to point with your toes, we call this Barbie feet, right? If you've ever had a Barbie, you would know what I mean. And then from here, let's take the left knee and draw it in. Maybe you can hug it in with both your hands. Stay right here or bring your hands behind your thigh, and press your foot up towards the ceiling, as if you were stepping onto the ceiling. Stay right here, or if you have any space to point and flex, go ahead and do that. Maybe make some circles. And then either stay right here or press up and flex your foot. Now, what I'd like to do is to press my leg into my hands. This may work for some of us and maybe not for others. But I'm pressing my leg and it helps me to get that big leg bone, the femur, right into the socket, the acetabulum of your hip. One more breath, and then I'm going to gently release, hands to the ground. Slowly, ever so slowly, lower your leg down. And then slide your knee bent, your foot on to the mat. And we'll do the other side. Bringing the right leg up and across. Ankle on your thigh above your knee so that you can circle your foot. And go in the other direction. See if you can do a little pointing and flexing, drawing the toes back and then putting them forward. And then draw that knee in towards your chest. Now you can stay right here or bring hands behind your thigh and press your foot up towards the ceiling. If you have your foot pressed up, then maybe some circling. I'm doing like a circle in one direction and then the other direction. And maybe some pointing and flexing. Stay right here, or if you have more space, press your heel up towards the ceiling and then press your leg into your hands. Resist the pressure with your hands and get that feeling of seating your leg right into your hip socket. And then release and hands down at your sides very slowly, pressing out through your heel. Let the leg come all the way down. And then draw the knee back in. Walk your feet out towards the edges of your mat. And then slowly begin to drop your knees from side to side, coming into a gentle twisting. Now you can always stay with this twist. Or if you'd like something different, walk your feet back in to hip distance apart and then draw your knees up. You can draw them in with your hands if you like. And then bring your arms down, either out at shoulder height or in cactus arms or goddess arms, just where you can get some support. Inhale in place and then exhale. Begin to lower your knees to the right. Now, you may not be able to go very far, and if it's painful, please come right back up and go back to the other twist. But maybe you can let your knees come all the way down. Try to keep both of your shoulders connected to the mat or the floor beneath you. If you'd like, you can turn your head in the opposite direction of your knees or in the same direction. You get a different stretch. Take a few breaths here. And then on an inhale, I drew my head to center. I'm going to lift up back to center. Now take a moment to assess, how is that on your low back? If the answer is not great, then please stay right here, hugging your knees in, maybe rocking. If you'd like to continue on to the other side, begin to slowly lower your knees to the left. Now I'm trying to keep this right shoulder planted on the mat. Maybe I'm turning my head. And breathing. If this is really intense, please come out. If it's enjoyable, stay and enjoy it. And then if it's somewhere in the middle, on your next inhale, slowly lift your legs back up to center and then release one foot and then the other. Walk your feet out wide and just a little gentle side to side. And now you have your choice. You can keep your feet wide and let your knees drop into center, or you can walk your feet in and let your knees drop out. Which works better in your body as a way to let go in the low back? And we'll take 5 breaths. And after your 5th or so breath, walk your feet back to hip distance. Maybe hug your knees in one last time. And then take a moment to notice if there's any finishing poses that you would like to do to complete your practice. And that might be more knees to chest, or a happy baby, or a different twist, or maybe something else entirely, some cat-cow, or coming on to your belly for some cobra. I always give you this moment to complete your practice because it helps us to begin to attune to our body's needs, right? What is it that your body is asking for as you complete your practice? Take your time and work to both sides. And then when you're ready, go ahead and make your way into Shavasana, finding a comfortable position to rest. Maybe lying on your back with cushions under your knees. You could lie on your side with a pillow under your head. You can sit up if you prefer that. Take your time to find your position of ease, and then take that ease, allowing gravity to let you settle deeply against the earth. Talk about awe. We are tiny little specks on the edge of a giant planet. But gravity holds us in place. Our atmosphere holds us in place. Allow your breath to be slow and still, comforting. letting go anywhere that you can release, letting your legs flop open if that feels good, opening up your hands. Maybe your palms are up or down. Maybe you roll your head a little bit from side to side and then come to stillness, softening the muscles of your face, your mouth, your jaw, around your eyes, between your eyebrows, smoothing out your forehead. Settle and rest. Fulfilled is a person who lives in awe, who deeply desires connection. For them, lights shine in darkness, lights of grace, compassion, and justice. This week, take an awe walk, a walk with no distractions, looking for little moments of awe along the way. Notice how it makes you feel. Begin to deepen your breath, bringing small movements into fingers and toes. When you feel ready, roll to one side and pause. And then press into your hands, making your way back up to sitting if you're not already there. Allowing your attention to stay deeply inward for another moment or two. We'll seal our practice with one chant of Om for the community that we create when we practice together. If you'd like to join, bringing hands to heart center, we'll inhale together. Om Shanti, peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with each other.